Hello, hello. How you doing, Mike?
Good. How are you, bud?
It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
glad you came out to, BS a little bit about whatever. So what have you been up to?
Currently just between working, content creation, partnering with a few different brands right now, collabing with a couple of different artists right now. So just trying to stay busy, man.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Yeah, I've heard a good bit of your stuff that you post.
Hopefully all good.
Yes, it's very good. I was talking to people at work and told them, you guys need to check him out because this dude here absolutely rips on guitar.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course, that's above my pay scale on what you're playing.
Yeah.
But basically my background, I from the '80s and stuff, I really got into like thrash metal.
Yeah.
But before that, was Nazareth, the Hair of the Dog album.
Mm-hmm.
That record really cemented a lot of things.
Yeah.
That like Leonard Skinner, it's so good.
Oh yeah.
It's really good, man. And people don't realize how good of a guitarist those three really were.
Oh, absolutely.
They were stupid good. I mean, now and even today, with the internet, the way it's built and everything, to learn how to play guitar and stuff, people listen to it and they're still scratching their heads
Fair.
on what Leonard Skinner did back then.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And leading up to that, what was your main inspiration to, into playing guitar and recording the music that you're recording nowadays?
So going back to when I was 10, the very first song that I ever learned, aside from the solo, obviously, was Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So I remember hearing that, and then my uncle at the time, not at the time, my uncle, but at that time, was back from tour. He was in a touring band at the time, and started asking him to teach me guitar, teach me lessons, and he taught me my chords and all of that. Couple staples, right? AC/DC, Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple. Started learning Crazy Train, and just started diving into music as a guitarist.
Yeah.
Learning that whole bit, and then fast forwarding, obviously we constantly evolve in our styles and our likes, and what is appealing to us at that time, and it just kept getting heavier and heavier. So it started off in 80s rock because that's what my uncle grew up with, that's what my mom grew up with, right?
Same here.
Right. So went from that to, I think my first little transition to, they're not heavy but heavier, like 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin, some more rock, modern at that time.
Yeah. It's pretty good stuff. Though.
Oh yeah. And then I heard Slipknot, and that was at the time just absolutely heavy. It was when Volume 3 came out, so I was late to the Slipknot game, but I was still a kid. So just from there, man, it just kept getting heavier and heavier, and then there's just been so many styles that have came out since then, and subgenres. But basically, that's what started the whole trip for me of being a musician, is that one song. So now we're here.
Well, Randy did that to a lot of people.
Yeah. Randy, he passed way too young.
Yes.
He was incredible.
He was, because he had a lot of his influence was like classical. Mm-hmm. And it showed.
And the one thing I thought that was incredible about him, I don't know how much you know about his backstory, but whenever they were on tour, at least this is what I've read in multiple occurrences, every time that they would stop into a specific town, didn't matter what town it was, with his skill set, he would still go to a guitar shop and learn a lesson from someone they're teaching, because you can always learn something from anybody, right? Yeah. So it doesn't matter your skill set. But I thought that was very humbling. That
unless you're me,
well, you're right. But I thought that was humbling that even with someone of his stature and skill set, he would still learn.
That's awesome.
All the time. So yeah. So it's always being a student.
See, that's one thing about the guitar. There's so much to learn.
So much.
A lot.
Like I've been playing for 22 years, and I still, which haven't dove far into it, but I still can't read music. I can read tabs and all that, but reading like sheet music, I've never been able to do. But then again, I've not really dove into it.
Yeah.
But dude, you constantly keep. I feel like that's the overall goal with anything in life, right? You constantly be a student and evolve upon your skill set. So, so yeah,
it's tough.
Oh, it is.
I mean, like playing chords and stuff. I know chords. Mm-hmm. But to put them together, my fingers just don't move like how they used to or anything like that.
Practice.
I know. It's hard to practice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to practice, but it's hard to find the time to practice.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's my main thing, you know. I mean, as I've told you, you know, when you showed up, you know, we're remodeling.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of time, but you know, in the long run, you know, it's going to be.
Absolutely.
But you know, hopefully this winter, I'll be able to come out and dabble.
Yeah.
A little bit on the six stringers, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like say, you know, how I was telling you how I tuned everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's half a step. You know, your standard tuning,
Mm-hmm.
then drop D. You know, there's so much you can do with those. Just those three, man. But you know, I like the simplicity of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing outrageous.
Yeah.
You know, because I have no hand speed anymore. But you know, I really don't need that anymore. You know, but you know, I like the dun da da da, you know, the whole strumming deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make just about anything out of that.
Yeah.
You know, so
And anymore, the tunings are so diverse.
out of the box.
Yeah. So, example like me, I have probably one of my biggest, I guess, guitar idols, if you will, or someone. If I could model my style off one person, John Brown from Monuments is just an absolute incredible guitarist. So he plays in a lot of dadgad style tunings. So instead of drop D,
Yeah.
you basically have three. If you're in dadgad, so in actual drop D, you have 3 D octaves. So, and then you can take that tuning obviously and go into drop B and have 3 different B. You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's a crazy little tuning, but it's very interesting to change it up sometimes. Because again, we're always taught standard tuning. And then, you know, you drop in the top string, right, to drop D.
Yeah.
And then, so that introduced drop tuning, but taking it a step further and just expanding a little bit is always nice. So, and ever since I did that, I mean, I've been in that style of tuning now for probably the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's been eye-opening. So, yeah.
Do you find it easier to find like your tone? You know, what sounds really good to your ears through that type of tuning?
I feel like it's easier to look flashy. It allows you to look a little bit more flashy because you can do a little bit more in that style of tuning that you can't do in a regular style tuning. But again, it also makes certain octaves and things easier and more accessible because the way the tuning is. So for me, kind of short answer, yes, it makes what my style and what I'm going for a lot easier to achieve versus a normal, like a standard tuning. But I still dabble in standard tuning. It's still great. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, for me, I think the standard tuning sounds so pleasing to the ears,
oh yeah.
especially when, you know, you hit that open E and it just rings.
Yep.
There's not a prettier sound. And the same way of doing like your power chords.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds, to me, it sounds so crisp.
Fair.
It sounds really crisp to me. But you know.
But that's also inside your roots, right? You're rooted inside of
Yeah.
the whole style, right? So,
Yes.
but regardless, we all start with that open E. The open E's heavy, you know, when you first start. So, yeah.
But, you know, I try to make it sound good to my ears.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's sloppy, you know.
Practice.
Yeah, I know. On that note, what kind of gear do you run with? You know, like your guitars and stuff like that.
So, as far as guitar goes, right now I currently have a 6-string Ibanez and a 7-string Ibanez, both Axion labels. Both have bare knuckle aftermath pickups in it, which is arguably probably my favorite pickup as of right now.
Heard of.
They are incredible. Very mid-range, more attack from them that I've heard from a lot of passives, because they are passive pickups, they're not active.
Yeah.
It's almost like the body of a active, but the body and actives are great and they're full sounding, but because they are active with the, you know, putting a battery basically in it, they can have a little bit too much noise come with it, where passives, you don't have so much of that.
Yeah.
So it kind of like blends to me the best of both worlds, and those pickups are just absolutely incredible. So, but right now, like I said, I'm running 2 Ibanez. I've always ended up going back to Ibanez. So going back to the beginning of my journey, my very first electric was BC Rich Warlock.
You still got it?
No, I wish I did. My mother and my grandmother got it from a pawn shop for my first electric, like I said, and it was great. It looked awesome. I love the body styles of those anyway.
Yeah. Those look like a star, sort of, kind of.
Yeah. And
They got that metal look.
very, very. So from there, I got my first Ibanez. That was my second electric guitar, and I still own that one today. That was the last thing my mother bought me. So that one I hold on to. And
Never get rid of it.
no, never.
get rid of
There's not a price tag for
Yeah.
it. So I've played on that one for a while. I've went, obviously different brands. I've played on literally every brand under the sun, aside from a few custom brands that are out now. And I mean, although they're all great, right? They all have their own highlighted points of what they're better at. But dude, I've always just find my way back to Ibanez. So for now, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I've what was it? The Squire Strat I got.
Oh yeah.
I think it sounds phenomenal. With that ring, it's a Fender,
Yeah.
offshoot Fender, and dude, you hit a chord on it, it just sings, which is crazy,
Yeah.
I've never played an actual Fender,
Yeah.
but if it's anything like that, you can't really go wrong with
Right.
it. But
Yeah.
that's stuff I like,
Yeah.
I like to say I've dabbled with like different amps and stuff, like I was telling you before, that line 6, man,
Yeah.
it sounds so good. I haven't hooked it up to a computer or anything, try to get different tones and stuff like that, that you can load onto the board or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, that stuff's way above me. There's tutorials out there that can show you how to do all that stuff, but
Well, that's the thing with the day and age we're in now, right? There's something about plugging into just a tube head, right? Regardless of what it is. I mean, there's obviously Mesa. Like I told you, I used to own a Mesa dual rec before I stopped playing live, and there's just something about plugging into a tube head that is just very raw and metal, right? So outside of that, right now I'm currently looking at also getting a quad cortex, or there's the other big contender in the market right now is the Line 6 Helix. But regardless how you go, those are just very versatile, where you can have basically several different types of amps and pedals and everything all in one unit, versus let me load out this massive pedal board and again carry around the head. Now again, they both have their place, but for being compact and whatnot, I'm looking at getting again a solid tube head again.
Yeah.
Mesa or Engel. Engel would be another really good one I'm eyeballing. And then the quad cortex just for compact, being able to travel with it. And if I do start playing live again, then that way I have options.
You see that coming down the future? Playing live?
Yes.
Hopefully?
Yes. I've got the itch.
The itch you can't quite scratch
That's
yet.
right.
But it's right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that, so I would probably be what you call a complete fish out of water. It's like, well, what do I do?
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's no other feeling.
It'd be like Jim Morrison, my back to the crowd.
There is no other feeling. And until you step on stage, it's hard to express that. I don't like using the word high, but that type of feeling that you get, that dopamine rush, where you, especially when you see the crowd engaging with your music, your content.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's cover or not, it's you still performing.
Yes.
But that feeling is there's not a price tag on it.
Because I got a gut feeling when you start playing the stuff that you've been releasing. I think it's going to be a pretty good hit. Me personally. I would get into that, because I like that stuff.
Yeah.
They're like the new age type.
And that's the thing. It's again how we talked about music's forever evolving and getting in all different kinds of weird tunings and sounds and effects, post effects, and all that. Very much, I'm drawn to like the modern type of sound, again, Monuments era.
So I'm not familiar with that.
We're going to have to talk after this thing.
So, yeah, we can do that.
Again, there's no other way really to describe it other than like modern. I don't even want to say gent, but modern gent, basically.
Yes.
But just that's what really draws me into it. I want something to tell me a story. I want to be able to listen to the music, regardless if there's vocals on or not. And for me as a guitarist, I want to be able to hear the music and feel some kind of emotion from it.
Yes.
Like, are you trying to convey anger in this part? Are you trying to convey, you know, some kind of sadness or loss in this part? Like, whatever it is, like, that's what really intrigues me is whenever I can hear a story in the music without lyrics. Love lyrics, obviously, but that's what catches me. And for some reason, that genre is really what does it for me. It draws me in. It's very complex in some parts and then very simple in some parts. So
it's almost it almost reminds me of like Cattle Decapitation. I don't know if you're because I had this discussion on the last podcast and stuff, but they hit everything. They hit blues, they hit everything under the sun. Just a one song, you know, it's not even a whole album. You ain't haven't listened to it yet, and they've already hit everything. You know, bluegrass, country, thrash, death, black, you name it. It's thrown in his vocals. Like of course, everybody out there who's not familiar with Cattle Decapitation, give them a listen to. It may not be your cup of tea, but there's something about it that just hits a nick.
It's funny you say that. So I have put off getting into them for a long time. It was just something I didn't resonate with at the time. And a buddy of mine, Dakota Simpson, you know him.
I know Dakota.
He has been on me for years. You've got to listen to Cattle. You've got to listen. And I just couldn't get into it. Well, we finally had me, him, and a good buddy of mine, Jeff. We went to a show together, which was Cattle was headlining, which, side note, we are currently in a project together. So that might be one of the things that we come out with. So, but yeah.
Stay tuned.
Path Cathona is the name of that group. So we released an EP a little while back, about a year and a half ago. That was just me and Jeff, and then had the blessed privilege of working with Mike Levine. He was the drummer from that. He plays drums for Peyton Parrish. So that was the EP that we released. But we're working on new music with that as well. But anyway, so we went and seen Cattle, and dude, they were absolutely incredible live. And,
changed their mind, didn't it?
Oh yeah. So I can't remember all the bands that was on. There was Vitriol, which every band was incredible. Vitriol. I wanted to really see Humanity's Last Breath. They were incredible live. And then, like I say, Cattle Decap was the headliner. And so I wasn't as excited as what they were. And they started playing, and dude, I was absolutely blown away. That was one of the best live performances I've seen from a band. So
they were so technical,
very, but precise. It's really hard to watch a show, and especially because, you know, me being a guitarist, like trying to see if you're able to play what you're playing on the record live, right? And they didn't mess up. I was again.
Or if they did, they made it sound really good.
If they did, I didn't catch it. I mean, dude, they were just absolutely phenomenal live. And the vocalist is what really blew me away. The sustain and power he has live was just next level. So after that, I apologized to Dakota. I was like, okay, I'm in it. I'm in it now.
See, it's funny about his vocals and stuff. I mean, one minute he's screaming like King Diamond. And then the next minute he's singing like Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse. Then the next minute he sounds like Johnny Cash. It's like, what are you guys doing?
one of the most underrated vocalists out there. Hands down. He needs a lot more praise.
Yes, he does. The whole band itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, it's funny you mention that because we went and seen Corrosion of Conformity, me and a friend and I. You know, I like their music, you know. It's like, oh, I'm curious to see how they're going to sound live, you know. Dude, they sound just like their records.
Really?
Yeah, so good. And same way with a group called Spirit Adrift.
I've heard of them.
Really good band. If you ever get a chance to see them, you know, they come out and goes, we play heavy effing metal, you know, and we are Spirit Adrift. Then they just kick right into it. It's a great feeling, you know, when you hear it. You know, at a volume, which was nothing sounds better, you know, than heavy metal played at a volume. You know.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah.
You know. So that type of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But that's what most of my concerts have been, heavy metal concerts.
Oh yeah.
It's funny because this has been quite a few years ago. My daughter and two of her friends, they were going to go see a concert and stuff up in Columbus. Well, one of the girls' mom goes, I can't go. Can you take them? Yeah, I'll go. I didn't have any expectations of, whatever.
Yeah.
You ever heard of a band called 303?
Yeah.
It was that band.
Okay.
I listened to them, had Down with Webster on the bill as well. It was about 4 or 5 bands. It was good.
Really?
It's definitely out of my wheelhouse. That
Yeah.
stuff is like, I don't know about that. I listened. It was a fun concert.
Oh, good.
Just them playing their like top 40 type whatever music they play.
Yeah.
Sounded great.
Well, I think that goes back to what we was talking about earlier. Music is so diverse, right? It really
Yeah.
doesn't matter what your background is, what my background is.
Yeah.
Coming together and being in a venue to just hear that music and
Yeah.
and what that conveys to us and how we interpret what's being the message that we're receiving from that song or whatever.
Yeah.
Just being in that environment, it's something special about that. There's
Yes.
something special about just going to a concert, people don't know, and just listen to music.
Yep.
It just resonates with you differently.
It does. I thought, boy, am I getting weird or what? Because it just didn't sit well, I guess. Because that was out of my wheelhouse, so to
Yeah.
speak. And that the girls had a good time. I liked it, so it was a win-win.
Right. And I'm sure they'll remember that for many, many, many years. So.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Either they forgot about it by now. Seeing that show, but of course they've been to 100 other concerts since then. But I thought that was pretty neat though to hear something, I don't normally listen to.
Right.
But I YouTubed it and stuff to make sure I wasn't going to be state of shock or something.
Right. Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of bands I've seen, that were like, man, I never heard of these guys. A group called American Sharks.
Heard of that.
They're a 3-person band out of Texas.
Okay.
They were opened up for Clutch. They came out, it's like, okay, we'll give these guys. So they came out, man, it was nothing but high energy. A 3-man band is absolutely just smoking.
And that makes the show too.
And of course, they had to pull everything up because they're the first band to play.
Yep.
The drummer's right there on the edge of the stage, just going crazy. And it was one of the best bands I've seen.
And see that the same thing with that, the energy, right? That you
Yes.
talked about. When you go to see a band, now granted, I get if you're playing something complex and you have to be stationary because of
Yeah.
whatever you're playing, I 100% understand that.
Dream Theater.
Right, right. But when you're able to get into your own music,
Yeah.
and convey that energy and that passion that you see on stage,
Mm-hmm.
that makes you as the listener more drawn in to whatever that is because it's part of the experience, right?
Yes.
So, man, what was that band? Daggone it. Oh, that's gonna bug me. Hold on. There's a band.
We got time.
Once again, Mr. Dakota.
He's a thorn in your side, isn't he?
Love that guy. That is going to absolutely drive me nuts. They were... I don't remember why they broke up. Their big hit was a song called Rat King. Dakota's going to look at this and just yell at me because he's screaming the name at me right now. I can see it. That is going to drive me nuts. But anyway, I can't remember the name of the band that's spaced me.
You say Rat King?
Rat King is the name of the single that they had.
Okay.
But I just checked out YouTube and I'm not finding...
Of course, it's got everything on here.
Yeah.
Heaven's Gate.
No, I'm actually going to text him while we're on this and ask him because that is going to drive me bonkers.
He's going to yell at you.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't know Dakota, he's a hell of a guitar player. He's a pretty good guitar player.
Oh my God. So we've been playing music together on and off now for, I just messaged him, so hopefully we'll reply back. And I'll get back to that point. But no, we've been playing guitar now play music in general now for over a decade.
Yeah.
We have such a love-hate relationship.
He goes crazy.
It's all love. It's all love. But the hate comes in between Dark Sermon. Thank you, Dakota. So Dark Sermon, and I'll get back to that point. Never really got into them, and it's a shame that they're not a band anymore because they were phenomenal. But they just engulfed the entire venue with their experience that they brought. Right? Yeah. They had theatrics, they had props, they had smoke, they just drawed you in with all this stuff and made that energy, and just, I don't know, it was a vibe. It was a vibe. But when you get into your own music like that, yeah, it's something next level. So it's not just like it's not just playing the song, it's not just the song being good, but when you can engage the crowd with your energy and showing them how you feel about what you wrote, yeah, I just feel like that as a listener makes you drawn in more.
Yes, it does.
But so Dakota, we've been playing, like I said, music on and off for over a decade, and the thing that we always go back and forth with is, again, where I don't know theory, I was never taught. Yeah. Listening to something, I can play something, he'll be like, oh, that's in the key of whatever, and if you go down 2 frets, you're in this key, so you can do this, but don't do this. I'm like, just talk English to me, bud. Show me what you're doing. So no, he absolute one of my brothers. He's one of my closest friends, and absolutely incredible musician.
He's a funny dude too.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah. But no, he's just saved me again. But because I know he would yell at me after this podcast if I didn't know who that was. So, but yeah,
so he's still going to yell at you.
He is.
He's still going to yell at you.
Incredible dude, though.
Yeah, yeah. He's a funny guy.
So, what made you get into all this?
Well, the whole podcasting deal.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot and a bunch of other podcasts and stuff, and I was like, well, he does all kinds of little bit of this and that and stuff. I didn't want to make this a political thing. I want this there to be more music oriented.
Yeah.
And this is my 9th episode, and I think I've pretty well nailed it on the music deal.
Yeah.
That was my main goal. Mm-hmm. Like say, I like talking to people. I like to see what maybe got them into what they're into.
Yeah.
Like my last podcast had a kid, he was in his early 20s, and he's into heavy music, which is awesome,
Yeah.
Which I know his dad, I work with him. And he was showing me these first pressings of Death records, Sepultura records from like 87 and stuff. He has them, which is awesome, Of course, I have people my age. Well, the guy who I went to school with, he graduated a couple of years ahead of me and stuff like that. But we're in the same type of music, except my stuff's a little bit heavier than his, But yeah. I like to see what they bring, what he really listens to. But he's a huge Kiss fan.
Oh, really?
Which I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. But yeah, I just like talking to people, and I want to put this out there. It's like, I'll show a record or something like that. Maybe if it gets someone into like, oh man, no. I haven't listened to that record in a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that a listen, or I've never heard of that band before.
Yeah.
I want to try them.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll put my like little stamp on it and stuff like that, like, you need to listen to this song here, then after that there, then blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Just something like that, just to maybe engage someone like how we're engaging right now.
Yeah.
What makes you tick, on your type of music that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
Something that really got you going.
Yeah.
That's my main thing about this here. And people just to watch, the podcasts and stuff, and like, hey, it sounded like that was a lot of fun.
Right.
So if I bring people in, and they have a good time or whatever, and they laugh or whatever, that's fine. That's great. That's great. I just want people to be happy.
Yeah. So on that note, so you said basically you want to find out what makes people tick and, what got them into metal or music in general.
Yeah.
So what was that first thing for you?
Nazareth.
Okay.
The Hair of the Dog album, when I heard that song, Miss Misery. Mm-hmm. And it was probably around, it's in the mid-70s. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, heard the Boston's first record. Mm-hmm. Of course, I know you've probably listened to it, and it's from top to bottom one of the best debut albums ever made. And then as the years went on, back in '79, I ended up getting a 45 from AC/DC. Mm-hmm. It was Walk All Over You and Touch Too Much on 45. And it wasn't too long after that, and AC/DC released Highway to Hell.
Yep.
So I got it on 8-track when that first came out.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best thing. I probably listened to that thing probably about 2 years straight or whatever the case might be. Well, then 1980 hit and Back in Black came out. Mm-hmm. Everybody and their brother had that record.
Yeah.
Everybody down the road, no matter what house you went to, everybody was listening to Back in Black. Then the following year, for those About the Rocket came out.
Yeah.
To me, that's still AC/DC's heaviest record they've ever released. Just the tone of it is just...
Yeah.
It's just gritty as hell, man. It's just, yeah. Then, 82, then there's a fella who went to school with and stuff. He was listening to Iron Maiden. Mm-hmm. He goes, hey, man, listen to this. It's Number of the Beast on cassette and stuff. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Oh, man, there's another world out there.
Yeah.
Then I listened to that. Then my grandma and grandpa, they had like a big satellite dish. Mm-hmm. One big old fiberglass monstrosities in their backyard and stuff. So I go down there and I would, there's this little station out in Canada called Much Music.
Okay.
And they had an episode in there called Power Hour. Mm-hmm. 1 hour of nothing but the heaviest stuff during that time.
Right.
Around 82, around there. And I was watching it, first time I ever seen a group called Venom.
Okay, yeah, I remember them.
Well, they did this song called Witching Hour. Mm-hmm. Right then, it just went straight downhill.
Yep.
And then, of course, the next year in 83, for Christmas, Mom took us to town and stuff. Hey, you guys pick out what you want. It's like, all right. Went straight to the cassettes. Got the Iron Maiden's first one. Got Killers, Number of the Beast, Made in Japan, which is like a 5-song EP live from the first with Paul Diano as their lead singer. And I got Peace of Mind. Mm-hmm. And it was straight down the pike at that point.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the following year, in 84, it's when I started driving. Mm-hmm. I got a job working at Kroger's and stuff like that. And there was this little record shop in Chillicothe. It's like, all right. I went in there. I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember the name of the place. That's bad. But anyways, I'd go in there. I'd spend like 3/4 of my check on cassettes.
Yeah.
And that's when I started. I heard Slayer.
Okay.
Really got into Slayer.
Yeah.
And that, then of course as years went on, then they released Rain and Blood. Mm-hmm. That's when it hit.
Yep.
Of course, my buddy down the road, he ended up getting Kill 'Em All on cassette. Oh. Yeah, listen. Oh man, it's heavy as hell. That sounds almost about like Venom,
Yeah.
You putting together the whole Venom deal. And then the following year, Ride the Lightning came out. Mm-hmm. Which still, to me, I think the first 3 records, that's the pinnacle of what Metallica's ever done.
Yeah.
But Master of Puppets came out, man. It was just like stupid good. It's so good. Did you listen to a lot of that stuff as well?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, so
the technicality of it, just how it's down picking stupid.
Oh, he's one of the down picking gods when it comes to guitar. I mean, his right hand is known across all the guitar community if you've been around, any length of time.
Yes.
Legend. But yeah, so like I said, my uncle and my mom, obviously, the 80s was their style of music, right? So anything from Ozzy to Zakk Wylde, Metallica, Slayer was on probably the top end of the heavy back then for what I was exposed to. And at the time, it was too heavy for me. Well, I was a kid. I was 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean? So at the time, Iron Maiden, Motorhead, all of them was what I was more like, okay, I can get into this. It was more aggressive rock, if you glam metal, all that was great. Yeah. But Slayer was like the top end. I could get into Metallica, but Slayer and stuff like that at that time wasn't something that my palate was ready for yet.
Yes.
But yeah, I remember the first time I listened to Master of Puppets, and I was like, I don't even know how he's doing this.
Yeah.
That don't sound human. But then obviously, you know, many years later, understanding how to play guitar,
Yeah.
it's still, I mean,
It's still challenging.
There's no way around it. He's a phenomenal guitarist.
Yes.
So yeah.
I would agree. Now it's funny you mentioned Motorhead and stuff. This is back in, I think, in 83. Well, it was in 84 when I really got into Motorhead, when I got Another Perfect Day on cassette. Mm-hmm. It's still my favorite Motorhead record ever.
Yeah.
And of course, after that, you know, they released Orgasmic on. Mm-hmm. To me, those two right there are the Motorhead releases they've ever put out. I mean, I like Ace of Spades and all that other stuff, you know, but man, those two records right there, those are ones I think have really made Motorhead who they are and who they were, you know, so.
Forgot one. I would get yelled at by my uncle if I didn't bring this one up, but Typo Negative.
Yes.
That was a big one that he got into.
Yeah.
I remember Black Number One was the song he first showed me. And I'm like, why is this 9 minutes long? But yeah.
Why does he sound like he's about ready to fall asleep?
Yeah, sounds like Dracula. But no. Yeah, that was another big one that he was into as well. But so it kind of evolved from there, right? Mm-hmm. I started getting into more heavier things than more modern. Slipknot, right? Which is something that he wasn't exposed to, and started getting into stuff like that. I was like, hey, what about this? And he's like, I've never heard of them, obviously, because they were more newer.
Yeah.
And then just, it's forever evolving.
Yes.
The music
That's
genres. So
yeah, because there's every day there's something new.
Oh yeah.
Something new. And these kids nowadays, they just watch a couple YouTube videos, dude, and they're just absolutely waxing people who's been playing guitar for 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm. But there's arguably there's a lot more at your fingertips now that wasn't around then. Right?
See, that's one thing. I've tried doing that stuff, watching it. And I was like, I don't see what you're doing. I can't see it.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, it's an odd angle, I guess.
Yeah.
To me, I'd rather watch someone play something. It's like, oh, okay, that's easy, man.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm more of a visual.
Yeah.
You know, with someone in front of me playing it.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, trying to figure like, it's an odd angle, dude.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of them. Well, when I play a power chord, I just use these two fingers right here. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of them, they use their pinky.
Yeah.
It just seems weird to me. I've tried it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and like you brought up YouTube, right? YouTube wasn't around even whenever I was a kid.
Yeah, no.
So it didn't start coming around until, you know, I was teenager. At least that's when I was exposed to it.
Yeah.
And back, you know, whenever I first started, it was you either had someone show you how to play something or you tried to learn it by ear.
Yeah.
Or you could grab a tab book, maybe. But outside of that, there wasn't the exposure you have now. Now with these little things, you can find just about anything you want in a couple clicks. So I feel like the tools that we have now are, you know, far beyond what we had 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
if there was one song that you would love to learn how to play by any band or whatever, what song you think that would be?
One song that I would love to learn how to play.
That it's completely out of your, you know, as you say, your wheelhouse or whatever, but.
So, man, that's a hard question. One that I haven't dove into yet, and it would not be easy, and I've put it off. There's a song by a band called, I'm going to butcher the name, Polyphia? Hold on.
I can see reasons why you could. Polyphia.
Yeah. Polyphia. Polyphia. And the song is called Playing God. Those boys aren't human. They're not human. Just both guitarists are just very, very advanced. They're just incredible players. Their style is, you know, if you haven't heard them, look them up.
Yeah.
But that song Playing God is, I can't remember, it got like 1 million views on YouTube in no time. It's a very, very well put together song, but it is expert level. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
So that's one that, because usually, especially if I got tabs, there's nothing that I've found that I can't learn, or at least by watching someone play it. But that is one that I have not dove into yet. That's probably the one.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Such a beautiful tune too. But yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, I've told myself that I want to sit back and I want to learn how to play a Thin Lizzy song.
okay. Anyone in particular? Or?
Yeah, there's a song. The song is called Black Rose.
Okay.
It's got Gary Moore as a guitar player, he's actually probably my top, I'd say 4 guitarists ever.
Okay.
And Scott Gorham as a guitar player. It's just, the song is just perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard the song. People out there, please give that song a listen to. I mean, I've figured out a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
but my fingers just don't work as good as they used to, but that in time, as you said,
Yeah.
practice.
Right. Practice.
I gotta practice.
Makes better. Doesn't make perfect. We're never perfect, but it makes better.
Unless you're in that one band.
Unless you're Polyphia or something.
Yeah, Polyphia.
Yeah.
I see reason why that's a tongue twister type of a name.
Yeah. Yeah. You get caught on the tongue a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, a song like that, would be one song that I would strive to learn for me. They're good. Now the lead is probably, it's definitely not. It's not something that be sort of in my caliber of playing. But as you say, that's something you can pick out.
Yeah.
By listening to it. Because they do a lot of that. Then it goes, it does like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good song. We can, I can play it for you after this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an absolutely phenomenal song.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
So what is? I got a question for you.
all right.
So, obviously, like you said, you just enjoy having conversations, right? And
Yes.
just off the cuff, raw,
Yeah.
just conversations. So, you said this is episode 9.
Yes.
Out of the 9 episodes, what has been your biggest takeaway, or something that you didn't know that really caught you off guard, or I guess what's been one of the main highlights you've had over the last 9 episodes?
I mean, that's a pretty tough one. That's
Right.
a tough one because each one of them have their own
Yeah.
little niche to it. One I have with Paul Ramey was really good because he was telling me a little bit more about the recording studio down in Masseyville, the recording workshop.
Yeah.
About how everybody comes in from around the world just to learn how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great, And, Brent, I don't know if you know Brent Beaver. He's, I went to school with him. Great guitar player.
Yeah.
Dude's just stupid good, And he plays in a band called Shady Ray.
Okay.
They do covers and stuff like that now. But he was, I didn't realize all the bands he was in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a band he was in back in the 80s, a band called Epitaph.
I've heard that name.
Yes. They played metal. They
Okay.
were one of the first metal bands around Chillicothe at that time. And Paul talked about that as well, about how, of course, Paul was a little bit younger than Brent and stuff like that, and talked about how it gave him the courage to do his performing
Yeah.
by watching these guys, listening to them,
Yeah.
just killing it. And of course, there was another band out during that time called White Friday.
Okay.
They were Chillicothe band and stuff. Really good band. I mean, I got all 3 of their releases on cassette,
Yeah.
Of course, their middle one was like an EP, but
Yeah.
whatever, Kate. But, and the other cats, one I just had, Hayden, him being in his 20s and stuff and listening to his aggressive music the way he is, it's great.
Yeah.
And of course, this other fellow, we talk about records, go back and forth with each other, messaging each other like, hey man, listen, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I've tuned him into a couple bands he wasn't real familiar with. But I've taken something away from each person.
Yeah.
It's like what makes them tick, so to speak. And
Yeah.
what really got them into the music itself.
Yeah.
It's like I had this one fellow on here. He graduated in the mid-'70s.
Okay.
And he was telling me about the landscape of the music back then. You got to see Zeppelin.
Wow.
Yes, in '79. You know, he goes, it was a killer.
Yeah.
You know, it was so good, you know.
Yeah.
But I like hearing stories like that. I like to hear stories. Mm-hmm. You know, that's my main thing, you know. Like me and my wife would go out to town and stuff. I'll talk to people.
Yeah.
Talk to older people and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know? Which I like talking to people, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Right or wrong, you know.
My wife gets on me. She's like, "You don't know a stranger, do you?" No, I can talk to this tree. Right, you know what I mean?
Well,
So everywhere we go, there's someone I'm seeing that I know or whatever, and I guess that's I don't look at it as a downfall. I think that communication and just talking in general to someone.
it's key.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely,
key.
absolutely.
Yeah, I love talking to people, so. It's like I'll take mom to town and stuff like that, and I'll be talking to someone, you know them? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yep.
You know, open a door for them, help them put their groceries away in their car, whatever, you know, I'll do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
You know, I just try to be nice to people, you know, but there's times, you know, you reach a point.
Oh yeah.
You know, you reach a point, you say things that you shouldn't say. But, you know, I've learned to try to control that.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes, you know, you can't bite your tongue no more.
That's
you know?
right.
You know, you get tired of this and that, you know, be thrown at you, then, you know, you crack up a little bit.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, that's a flaw of mine. You know, I try to be the best I can.
Yeah.
You know, as, you know, I think probably everybody tries to be good.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, eventually, you know, maybe you're having a bad day. But, you know, that's just me, though.
Yeah.
But, you know, I try to be cordial and nice to people because, you know, they may be having a bad day.
Yeah. You never know what someone.
You know,
else
you
is
just
gonna
say hi to someone, you know, with a smile and stuff. Maybe it'll make their day or it won't make their day.
We all have silent battles that we have going on that no one else knows about. So
Yeah.
a simple smile and a hi can mean the world to somebody. So,
Yeah, it's like, you know, something. They took the time out of their day just to say hi to me.
yeah,
So,
the acknowledgement.
yes.
Yeah,
That makes a world of difference, right? Or maybe you acknowledge that you are there,
right.
you know, right or wrong, you know. I reckon I could be a goofball 99.9% of the time. Of course, we've worked together. You know that to be a fact.
Yep. But again, though, you never know how much that impacts someone's day. So you could have made someone laugh for the first time for that day, right? So
That's possible.
that one thing can brighten up a whole lot of darkness.
Or they're going, he's stupid. You know?
But one thing's a fact: they'll never forget you.
That's true.
The imprint. So
That's a hell of an imprint.
hey,
It's like Sasquatch imprint. But yeah, you know, I try to be nice to people as best I can, you know. But you know, there could be a certain person that just, you know,
we all have our ticks.
and they have their ticks too.
Yep.
For whatever reason. But you know, explain to that afterwards.
Yeah.
But I like to throw some records out there.
Yeah.
See if something, you know, it may ring a bell or, you know, or maybe something new to you.
Okay.
You know, just to maybe get your take on it.
Yeah.
There we go. A little bit of AC/DC. Dirty
Oh.
deeds done dirt cheap.
Yeah.
That's a cracker.
That's slick. And by the way, I know you can't see it on camera. The biggest record collection I've ever seen. The biggest. Whole wall. But that's slick.
But yeah, this is, I remember listening to this here back in, my God, like 79, 80.
Yeah.
My sister had gotten it. You know, it's pretty good stuff. Because this dude here is probably one of the best rhythm guitarists ever, Malcolm Young.
Yeah.
You know, way he played, way he put it was funny because I heard a thing about where he was so small,
Yeah.
his hand wasn't big enough to reach, like, you know, do these chords and stuff. He would just only hit like half of them. That's how he would do it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with this record at all.
I've heard, obviously, not the whole thing, but I've heard most of it on
Yeah, Dirty Deeds, everybody's heard that one.
Yeah.
Love at First Feel.
Yep.
Big Balls.
Yep.
Rocker, Problem Child. That's a good one. It's going to be some rock and ain't no fun waiting around to be a millionaire. Right On, which is it's a really good song.
Yeah.
It's their slow song.
Okay.
And Squealer. you know, being AC/DC, there you can pretty much guess about what Squealer is.
Oh yeah.
You know, they had their own little niche
Yeah.
of throwing out. Here you go.
Oh, there it is.
Pretty familiar with that one?
Yeah.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's slick. Which I mean, they have so many good
Oh my God.
records.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah, to me, I don't think they've ever released a turd.
no.
Even with Blaze Bailey, people
Yeah.
they gave him so much guff about those records.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I have no idea why. Because if you actually really listen to them, they're real hard. They're heavy records.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
So one thing one of my mentors gave me in the past, and it's helped me out a lot, and it'll relate to this, the same message you just said. A lot of people give them flack over this, right? So they're doing that for them, right? As long as they're doing what they love.
yep.
Nobody else's opinion truly matters. You want people to resonate with your music, right? You want people to like what you're putting out.
Yeah.
But if you're happy with what you're putting out, at the end of the day, that's the only thing that really matters. If you're passionate and you're sharing your art with the world, right? So if you take a bottle of water, go to the store, it's $1. Go to, I don't know, the airport, it's $4. Go to a stadium, it's $8. Same bottle of water, right?
Yep.
Just the cost of that, the value of that bottle of water is different depending on where it's at, right?
Yeah.
So people giving other bands and music flack, it's just not what you like, right? If it's not what you resonate with, don't listen to it. But the whole negativity behind certain things, like example, there's certain bands and artists and groups that I'm not a fan of. I'm sure you're not a fan of, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's not in our taste, right? It's not something that we're versed to. Doesn't mean that it's not bad. They're still conveying the same thing. They're still conveying their art and their expression in their own way.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean it's bad. But but yeah, I think that they've all in all had a lot of good full records.
Yes.
I mean, so that being one of them.
I mean, imagine going in a record store in '83 and seeing that record. And it was like, man, that looks pretty cool.
Right. That pops.
Then you go flipping through the eyes more, you see their first record, you see Killer, see Number of the Beast,
Yeah.
and that'll definitely come out and touch you.
Oh yeah.
Good record. It's one of my favorite ones of theirs anyways. Oh, here we go. We were talking about Ozzy later.
Yes.
This is the one right after Randy died, where they had Rudy Salazar and Brad Gillis. Yeah, I know. As and I think Tommy Arledge as the drummer.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's a killer live record.
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
they just did all Sabbath songs.
Yeah.
So,
But then again, though, same thing like Hetfield, legend. No matter how you spin it, everybody knows Ozzy.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Because I know I think it's me and Paul, we were talking about so that Ozzy was Black Sabbath's worst singer.
I mean, perspective.
Yeah, I mean, his is the most distinctive.
Right.
But as a range and everything, Ozzy doesn't have range,
Right.
but he's got that voice,
Yep.
and that's what people gravitate to.
Yep.
Especially from the first two records.
Yeah.
When you hear, like, say, Crazy Train.
Yeah.
When you hear his vocals and stuff, it's over.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I like his stuff, I really do,
Yeah.
and I like his stuff and what he did with Sabbath, but. You give me the DO years any day.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, that's a really good record. Oh, here's a barn burner. Foreigner's first record.
Wow.
Yep. Familiar?
I'm unsure if I've heard their first stuff. I've heard Foreigner. I mean, again, from my mom and my uncle, but
Yeah.
I'm unsure if I've heard anything off their first. Take it back. Cold as Ice, I've heard. Mm-hmm. Feels like the first time. Long way from home.
Yeah.
But the other ones I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember my sister had gotten this on 8-track
Yeah.
back in. Listened to the hell out of it.
Yeah.
It was it's such a good record, you know. Like say it seemed like their first 4 records, they're just flawless. Ozzy even said, he goes, their first 4 records, man, they're untouchable. You know, which I would agree with.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I mean, what was that song? Head Knocker and Star Rider. Those are really good songs. And Fool for You Anyway. You know, Woman Oh Woman. I mean, the whole record is just top to bottom.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Oh. Speaking of Dio,
Hell yeah.
The Mob Rules. Familiar with that one?
Some of it, yes. Yeah. Yeah. But then again, though, going back to another legend, obviously he's passed away, but
Yeah.
Dio is, you know, just got that voice. Now, granted, I get that at least I was exposed to Dio from, oh, wow.
Holy Diver or
Yeah, Holy Diver and
Last in Line.
Rainbow in the Dark.
Okay.
But then, you know, as everything else started branching out, well, what else has this person done? And so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff he did with this band was just, you know, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
But stuff he did with Rainbow, I don't know if you're familiar with that band Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
They released like 4 albums
Okay.
with Rainbow back in the mid '70s and stuff. Some of the heaviest stuff you'll ever hear, especially off their Rainbow Rising record. Mm-hmm. I discussed this on the last podcast with Hayden and stuff about the song called "A Light in the Black."
Okay.
That's when the double bass
Oh, yeah.
really took off. You listen to that song, it's through the whole song. And that's Cozy Pile doing that.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean it's a phenomenal record. If anybody ever gets a chance to listen to it, I've beat myself to death telling people you gotta listen to it. You gotta listen to it. I mean, like say all the songs on here are just so good. You know, you got the Sign of the Southern Cross, Voodoo, The Mob Rules, Falling Off the Edge of the World, you know, Over and Over, Country Girl, Turn Up the Night. Turn Up the Night's probably one of the, you know, it's so heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not familiar, you know, people's not familiar listening to this record, you know, you got to listen to it right from the get-go.
Yeah.
You know, from the first song to the last song. It's so good. And this cover actually caused a lot of flack because I don't know if you can see right there, it's like a devil.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And there's supposedly something that says right here about Ozzy, like Ozzy must die, or whatever. That I've looked at it, I don't see it. It's supposed to be like somewhere about right in here, along the bottom. Which I
I don't see it, but
you know, people mess with lines and this and that. You know, like I don't know. It's like if you're going conspiracy theory that stuff.
yeah.
You do you.
Yeah. That. Definitely know all about that.
Killer record.
Yes. Wish he was still alive too.
That dude there could sing, man.
Man.
He's such a good singer.
Talking about heavy, so the first time I heard Man in a Box, that was just another level. That was when I ascended another notch in the heavy realm. That was such a
I actually learned how to play that song.
yeah.
Nothing like that, you know. It's like da da dum dum dum.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, that's another one that died way too young.
Yeah. And their second record after this here, Wood.
Yeah.
That's a good record.
Yes.
No, Dirt. That's it. Dirt. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Brain fart again. I can't think much anymore. But yeah, what song is it? I know something. That's probably about my favorite song on there. Love, Hate, Love.
Yeah.
Bleed to Freak is really good too.
Yeah. But even the artwork, like, especially for then, that was just creative. Yeah.
You know, whole persona of them being, you know, a grunge band. This was not a grunge band. This was a metal record.
Oh, then, yeah, absolutely.
The same way with Soundgarden. Mm-hmm. I've said it once, I'll say it again. That I thought Nirvana was just an over-glorified punk rock band. I mean, their stuff's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, never mind phenomenal record, but I don't think it even touched Bleach. I thought Bleach was a damn better record.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's more raw,
Yeah.
you know, but it's a good record, kids. And here's one that might. The Allman Brothers Band.
So this is, I've heard very, very little
Yeah.
by the Allman Brothers. But what I've heard is obviously
Yeah.
good.
And that guy there, Dwayne Allman.
Yeah.
Then you have Dickie Betts right there. Probably two of the best Southern rock blues guitarists you'll ever hear. Yeah. Down there, this has got the song Whipping Post on it.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that song. Oh, it's good. You know, if you're into like that Southern rock type
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, that's a good one, boys and girls. You know, you can YouTube it, listen to the whole record through there, or stream some of your streaming services, whatever it may be. You know, give these records a listen. You know, you won't be disappointed. I don't think you will be. But you know, it's neither here nor there.
That's right.
But you know, I like to tune people into stuff like this. You know, maybe it'll open their eyes or make them close or whatever the case may be. You know.
Just exposing more music to the crowd.
Yes, that's what it's all about, you know. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, that was good.
Well, thank you.
That was fun. I appreciate you coming out, taking the time, you know, to chit chat about this and that. And
Thank you for having me, man.
yeah.
Anytime.
Oh, if people want to listen to your music, where should they go to listen to your music?
So all my stuff I release right now on YouTube, Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok. It's under M Butler Music. So my first name obviously is Michael. So M Butler Music. Again, that's everything that I have currently is not been like singles released on Apple or anything like that.
Yeah.
Now my band, Path Cathona, Path Path Cathona Kthona. That is on all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify,
Okay.
all that stuff. So, but my actual self-titled stuff is all just content created. Is all on,
Yeah.
you know, TikTok, Instagram under the M Butler Music handle. So
And people, it's pretty good. Give it a listen, please. You know, go to his page and like everything about it. You know, it's good. You know, and the stuff
appreciate that.
Yeah, and the stuff that you did, you know, putting guitar solos.
yeah.
You know, there's certain songs and stuff.
So I've been very hesitant to that. I wanted to, whenever I started the content creation, because I've been wanting to do it for a long time. When I started, I wanted to just show, you know, what I can write from scratch, you know, or what I was inspired by. So a song that I made inspired by this band or whatever. The more I get into it, the more I see that the cover game is just something you get to do if you want to really make this thing, you know, a full-time gig. So I have started dabbling into my own twist on covers and solos over top of things that don't have a solo or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're dabbling into the cover realm now, while still also putting out original content. So
Yes.
yeah,
It's all for fun.
all for fun. Yeah.
It is pretty good too. I like your guitar solos you put to these songs. Are really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I
really do.
sit back and I just laugh like that's fun. That's good. It's like, why didn't they come up with that? You know.
Hey,
Granted,
all personal taste, right?
Yes.
Nothing was bad.
I mean, granted, you know, they needed a younger generation to come in and put a little bit of spice to it.
Hey, we'll try. We'll try.
Once again, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate you spilling the beans,
Absolutely.
so to speak. But yeah, be good to one another out there, you know.
Absolutely.
So have a good one, guys. Later.
See ya.